All right, so this would be the best example of what I'm talking about as far as like market structure. Just understanding it better. So let's take all this off because I'm not gonna need it. But when you come into the charts, just take a line. Like, don't count the wicks. Just count the where the candlestick closes at. So this is the top. So we'll mark this out. Boom. And we'll label that one high. Then we'll mark this one out. Boom. And we'll just keep up with where price is going. Now this helped me out a lot once I understood this, like not to count the wicks. So once this gets broken, this low gets broken, this now becomes the new high and this now becomes the low. And we wait to see like, what price does from this point. So we see their price, made a new low. And whenever you put your low, it's a lot easier for my computer. But whenever you put a new low, you mark out the market structure and this now becomes the high. Well, it stays the high. And so we see price, like, we wouldn't really count this move. Like, this wouldn't be like a high or low or anything like that because it's in between the high and the low. So remember, this low got broken, so this is the most recent high. And actually, you could count this as a high, but me personally, I always go to the very top of the move. That's just me. So what we see this high got broken. All right, cool. So now we start to look at where's the most recent low. So remember on the 4 hour, so we would look right here. So now this becomes the low. And we're counting the body sticks. The body candlesticks. We're not counting the wicks. We're not putting it like down here. Count where the candles close. So we have to wait until this high gets broken. Now we have to see where's price pulling back to. Okay. So now we see that this is now the high. Boom. Set it right there on the candlesticks. And boom, this is the low. Boom. We see this low got broken. So now what does that tell us? That we're back on a downtrend. Like a lot of people be like, oh, this is an uptrend. But remember, this is the last low before the high was broken. And why do we know this is the last low? Because this is where price changed direction. So when you're deciding which one to use, like which high or low to use, I learned this is like kind of like the snake method. Like where's the snake change directions? So we're looking as we see price made a move right here. Boom. So this is considered a low. And another way to know if it's a low, like you can look at the three bottoms of the candlestick, like 1, 2, 3, and like it makes like a U. Boom, boom. Like these are lows. And the reason why I didn't count this, because if you see, like it did, but it wasn't like this. Like this was like a boom, like a ceiling basically. Where's the ceiling at? Like once you start to be able to see it, like like how I'm tracing it out, that's what you want to look for. Like price, like doing those type of reversals to know like what's the high and what's the low. This is at least how I look at it. Like, so you could count this, but this isn't a ceiling how this is. This high is. So when I mark this out, I'm now looking at this as the low and this as the high. So this is going to be the range right here. But then if we go down to the 1 hour, it gets a little bit trickier because as you see, like the wicks are here, and also like you can always go on here and just take the wicks off if you wanted to. Ooh, I don't really do this from my phone. Give me a second. Yeah, just go in here and just click the wicks, turn them off, and then you get the body candlesticks. Now it looks weird at first, but it kind of definitely helps with structure, just to understand like where price is going. So, if we're looking at this on 1 hour, boom, we see price on the downtrend. So if we're marking this out, now this is just on the 1 hour. We understand that it is in the downtrend though. Okay, I made that too big, so let's just make some new ones. So if we're looking at this, well, I see a clear out reversal right here. How do I see a reversal? So I see that this is a low. Let's go. Yeah, this is the low. Okay, actually, we're going to start from right here so it'll make it easier. This is the low. This is the previous high. And as you see, this high got broken. Boom. So mark it all the way out. this is kind of something that you can do like in your spare time to be able to like identify structure. So we had a low, boom. That this low got broken, so that made this the low. This the high. This high got broken, which made this the low. My bad. And as you see, like when I say like wicks don't count, like if you would have counted this as a low, I mean, if you would have counted this as a breaker structure, because I'm pretty sure there's a wick right here, you would have lost this trade because you would have been looking at it like, okay, boom. So now we're in a downtrend. When technically we're still in an uptrend. Price never closed below the structure level. So how do we know we're in an uptrend? Because we got to change a character right here. Because remember, this is the previous high. And so when we broke this high, this became the new high and this became the new low. So that lets us know that we changed trends, you know? But if you're looking at the wicks, so if I put the wicks back on, it'll make it seem as if, structure was already broken. But if you notice, look at how price is holding right here. The body candlesticks is what I mean. Don't pay attention to the wicks. Pay attention to the body candlesticks. That's the actual structure. It never closed below. So with this right here, this little move right here, we can mark it all the way out. We have a breaker structure right here. And this is just me just going in depth kind of before I do my workout. So just so you'll be able to understand exactly what I mean. So this is the breaker structure, okay? And remember, this is the previous high. How is this the previous high? Because we're looking at this like a step. Boom, 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 boom. And then we see price shoot up, boom. So what does that give us? This gives us this high. We're not talking about the wicks. This high right here. A good change of character. So, okay, it looks terrible. Let's extend it out. Okay, whatever. It's on there. All right, so that gives us the change of character that we were looking for. So, when a change of character happens, that is a change of trend. So that's what I said, the hours on the uptrend. So now we would have been potentially looking for buys, and price pulled back 100% right here. But what do we notice? It did not break this low. Even when it came right here, this move is just a move in between the high and the low. So this is still the low, this is still the high. Now, what do we see? We see that price broke through here, okay? And so here's where it comes tricky, because this was the last buy to sell candle. No, I meant the last buy to sell candle that created the big move. So if you were looking to take this market higher, this would be the low. This would be the high. All right, and so this would be your demand zone right here. All right, and so this, I would want to see what price does. Actually, we might get a little reaction right here, right now. But what does price do when it gets down here? Does it come down and shoot straight through? If it does, remember, then that's just a confirmation for us to keep going up higher. But don't forget, on the 4-hour time frame, we are technically in a downtrend. Now, this is just structure on the 1 hour. I'm just showing you how to identify it correctly, on the lower time frames, and actually like follow structure all the way back. Because like I said, we have a change of character right here. We have a confirmation of a breaker structure right here. Now, like I said, we can even go as far as to see if this is within discount. So this lets us know that, hey, this is a valid trade, and it is, because you want to be buying at a discounted area, which is below the 50%, which this is. You don't want to be buying at a premium. You want to be selling at a premium. Or think like a realtor, sell when it's high and buy when it's low. So this is a potential move. However, don't forget, overall, the trend is down. The trend is definitely down. But, you could wait for price to either get to the zone and buy it up and take profit at the recent high, or at another structure area that you believe it'll reach, or you could simply wait until to follow the entire trend and not try to catch a reversal. But I just wanted to make sure that you understood exactly what I meant when I said following structure. I hope that kind of explains it for you and does a good job of explaining it.